Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 35 of Talking Disney Magic, a show all about ranking and reviewing the biggest films in Disney and Pixar's catalog and talking about the biggest news in the House of Mouse, including Disney, Pixar, Star Wars, Marvel, and so much more. My name is Adam Bankhurst, and I'm here as always with the wonderful Vanessa. And this week, we are so excited to be continuing Toy Story Month and basically arriving at the reason we're doing Toy Story Month because Toy Story 3 is about to get ranked and reviewed by Talking Disney Magic because Vanessa, it's 15 years old. Oh my God.
I don't want to talk about it. I'm an old person.
We're so old. I can't believe this. 15 years old. What the heck? Happy birthday, Toy Story 3, 2010. Incredible film. Spoiler alert, we love it. And it is a big deal. And obviously, Talking Disney Magic usually goes live Thursdays, but the anniversary is Wednesday, which is why you're getting an episode right now. So we couldn't pass up the chance to celebrate this movie.
And you're going to get special two episodes this week because we're going to rank and review Elio as well. So you get us twice in 1 week. How special. Not on Thursday, Wednesday, and another day.
Yes, right.
TBD.
Maybe Friday, maybe Saturday. We'll see how life goes. But yeah, you're going to be listening to Toy Story 3 right now, and then pretty soon you'll have Elio. But obviously, the big story this week is this incredible milestone for this incredible film. And like I said, we've been ranking and reviewing the Toy Story films leading up to this, so you can go back and listen to Toy Story 1 and 2. And then next week, we're doing Toy Story 4. And then, of course, I know some of you out there are probably like, why didn't you guys wait till Toy Story's 30th anniversary that's happening in November? We're like, we know that. We know that, of course. So we're also going to be doing a Toy Story mega show then as well and talk about all of our loves or this whole Toy Story month we've been having. But like I said before, we just can't pass up a chance to talk about Toy Story 3 because it's a really special one.
One of the most special, I think. Every time I watch it, it just gets better. It's like fine wine. It just gets better with age. Like it
It really
truly
does.
does. And like everything, the full circle moments, how everything ties together. It's full circle for the trilogy. It's full circle for the actual movie itself, how things open up. It's just like you can't say enough
Yeah.
good things. Also, Spanish Buzz.
Oh
It's
my
the best.
God.
It's literally the best.
The Spanish version of "You've Got a Friend in Me" lives rent free in my head and just makes me dance instantly. It is so good. I love it with all my heart. But
I almost feel like Spanish Buzz could be in our Hall of Fame. Like,
I think you're probably right. He is so funny. Just so much style and swagger. Just unbelievable.
and like I love the way they anim and it was just like it's just so great. There's no like no notes, no notes.
No notes, no notes for that. And before we dive even deeper into this film, I do want to remind everyone that Talking Disney Magic is a show that goes live every Thursday at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, except for these special events and milestones and big moments and stuff like that. But you can check the show notes below to find timestamps, to find our current rankings of all our films, to find an upcoming schedule of all the films we'll be ranking and reviewing, and any other big events coming up, which is actually where I'm going to take a break because next week, we have something really, really awesome happening that I'm super excited about. So, we had Jeff Bowman on from Marvelous Mouse Travels, and we want to bring on incredible people in the Disney community, from travel agents to content creators to obviously creators, anybody that's in this world, we want to bring and have share their experience. And we're so excited to welcome the dapper Danielle Kelly to the show because I was reached out by, the PR team because she's actually just launched a new book called I Love Disney's Magic Kingdom. It's an unofficial fan guide. It's really fun. It's all about like trivia and things you wouldn't know about Magic Kingdom and celebrating kind of the love of it. And we're going to be spending pretty close to near an hour talking about the book, her love of that. We'll get some of her input on Disney films and all that stuff. But I don't know. I'm just really excited. I think this is going to be a really cool one.
I'm super excited. I have lots of questions for her about like her history with Disney, what inspired some of these things, like her favorite parts about the Magic Kingdom. And then also like I want her feedback on our tier list or like what's her S? Like
Yes.
what's the top movie? Like I want to know. I want to know these things, Danielle, and I can't wait to
These are the hard-hitting questions you'll be asked on Talking Disney Magic. But yes, we're super excited to welcome Danielle on the show and talk about that and bring that to all of you to give some more perspective in the world of Disney, which we love. And so once again, if you want to be a part, if you want to ask Danielle questions, if you want to get in your thoughts on Toy Story 3, Toy Story 4, any of the Toy Stories, on Elio, on anything else in the Disney, in the world of Disney, we'd love you to send an email to talkingdisneymagic@gmail.com. Once again, talkingdisneymagic@gmail.com because we want to help build this community and be able to do all these awesome things like talking to Danielle, doing these big reviews, doing my media previews with IGN, doing all this stuff. There's a lot of fun happening in Talking Disney Magic, and we'd love you to be a part of it because Vanessa and I think it's pretty cool.
It's way more fun when we get to do it with you.
Exactly. 100%. It is so true. So yeah, so once again, that's all well and good. We got all the housekeeping out of the way. And before we jump into Toy Story 3, there is one little bit of news that I just need to just dance to the moon about because Pixar announced a new movie is coming and it's called Gatto. And first of all, you see the image. There's a black cat, looks like he's in Venice. This is all pretty cool and all well and good. But then I read that it's from Luca director Enrico Casarosa, and I shot to the moon, Vanessa, because Luca is so good.
Luca is an S on our tier list, and yeah, I was super excited about this too. It came alongside a lot of other news around Hoppers and some other Toy Story news too. That was how we initially started talking about this because I texted you the picture of the Toy Story villain for Toy Story 5 that got revealed, and I was like,
Lily
"Woo!"
pad. Ooh.
I'm really a little bit shocked that because there's what are they called? Lily pads? They're not
I know that like sounded familiar. That's like
yeah, they're
something.
like the reading I think they are leap pads. Leap pads is probably what I'm thinking of. That is
Oh,
very
maybe.
similar. Like it's a basically, Bonnie versus technology. Toys versus tech is the villain tech. But I was like, wow, I can't believe that they're not going to get sued by the company that makes Leapfrog. That's going to be like, hey, like you're, villainizing our toys.
I know, seriously. I know that is an interesting thing. And I do actually think that's a really cool direction for this film because I think that's so topical and modern, especially, both of us are raising kids and doing stuff, and it's just so easy to put screens in front of these kids and it just takes over everything. So, obviously I think Bonnie's going to be 8 years old in this film, and it's going to be, obviously Lily Pad in this picture, you can see there's that they released new concept art. Looks all friendly and everything's great, but we know it's not gonna go that way. But yeah, that is an interesting thing because it definitely is similar to kind of a leapfrog tablet. That's pretty true.
I know. I was like, as I was looking at it, I was like, wow, they must have paid a lot of money to either like get them to not sue them or like I wonder if it's part of like a subsidiary company or something
Yeah,
where they own it and they can just do it because I was like,
maybe at the end they'll all be friends and they'll find a way to share. I don't know. We'll see.
yeah, doubtful. Technology's taking over the world, Adam. Didn't you know the
Oh
robots are
yeah, that's
coming for
true.
us? Hmm.
Yeah, I welcome my robot overlords. It's fine. It's all good. But yeah, it's kind of funny because they also, released another image for Hoppers and kind of shared a little bit more about the story. And apparently it's like this little girl named Mabel is jumping into the mind of a robot beaver who has to go into the woodlands to stop John Hamm, who's a mayor, from destroying the forest by building a highway. And Mabel, who is in a robot beaver, has to convince the king beaver and all of the animal friends to work together to stop this mayor. And it sounds like a whole big thing, but like, I don't know. I'm down. Sounds kind of fun.
Sounds like a fun trip. We love original content.
Yes.
This is
And
like
animals.
an animal, so like sign us up.
Yeah, no, I'm all about. I'm excited for those two. I think it's going to be really fun. But I know we kind of jumped from Gatto a little bit, and I do want to jump back to that because I think that was the news that really kind of captured my heart.
Number one, yes.
Yes,
Hmm.
because first of all, like I said, Luca, we ranked it an S. We love the style, the direction. I think Enrico Casarosa did such an incredible job, and I've been waiting to see what he does next. And so this film actually returns us to Italy. This time it's in Venice, and it follows a black cat named Nero. And he's indebted to a feline mob boss and finds himself forced to forge an unexpected friendship that may finally lead him to his purpose. And that I think that friendship is with like a street musician, a street performer or something. And it's like, yes. And I think, in Venice, it's a black cat. So I think there's a lot of superstition around Nero. So he doesn't feel welcomed and different things like that. So and also I think what's really interesting about this film too is it has a very like painterly style. Like it's not kind of your traditional looking, which I thought Luca had its own style too. So I just love when they kind of play with this and it's not like everything else. So I mean, this shot up my list, probably of the most anticipated film, maybe in Disney's catalog. I just cannot wait for this one.
Yeah, no, they were saying it was going to be more of like a 2D plus 3D
Right.
style with the traditional like CG animation or the more traditional of these days. But yeah, it looks beautiful, and I'm excited too. I think we talked a lot about movies that have been exploring like purpose and meaning and life, and I think that this is just another one of those. And we love a good purpose-seeking movie.
We do. We do. So it's unfortunately not coming until 2027. So we got to wait a little bit, but we'll still get Hoppers and we'll get Toy Story 5, assuming nothing gets delayed. So there's some good stuff coming from Pixar. I'm hoping they knock these out of the park because I'm feeling hopeful for these three. It feels like they could be pretty good. I know like we have, Toy Story, we talk about the perfect trilogy and do they need to make another one, but I don't know. This concept of toy meets tech, I think, is a very smart one. So I'm hoping it kind of pans out like I'm hoping it does.
And our boy Bobby promised us some really good movies coming up. He
It's
did.
true. It's
I
true.
got some good things coming for you. Not since 2019 have I seen things this good. So Bobby, you better be right. You better not be astray.
You better not, Bobby. We need you. So make it happen. So yeah, so that's we'll have to wait to see exactly how these turn out, but what we don't have to wait for is our ranking and reviewing of Toy Story 3. We're finally here, Vanessa. I feel like this date has been on our calendar mostly since we started the show. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
it's a big one. So, before we jump into the nitty-gritty, and I know you talked about this a little bit, but what is this film? What's your history with this film and what does it mean to you? Because I know it's a lot.
Oh, yeah. Well, I love Toy Story, but we talked about how it was kind of a little bit less like in our face, it was just kind of in our lives, and it wasn't like the moment. Like you have your Lion King moment, I have my Beauty and the Beast moments, right? But Toy Story 3, totally different. I remember that I saw it opening day. I was a freshman in college, and I went with my sister and her best friend Gabby, and then our friend Pat, and there was the four of us, and I just cried the whole time. The whole time. Like I was like, this is embarrassing how much I'm crying through the entire thing. And my sister's sitting there and she's tearing up because, I just left, and, she's now an only child for, however long between, she goes to college. And spoiler, we ended up at the same school, so we didn't stay apart for long. But at the time it was just like, oh, this like emotional, like she's getting my room, which she didn't end up, my sister didn't get my room, but like it was like this like interplay of like all the feels, and I remember vividly this movie and just like how terrifying it was. Like this movie is not for the faint of heart.
I know.
Like it is, they took big risks
Yeah.
in how much of an asshole they made Lotso.
Seriously. Oh my God.
Like,
No redemption for this dude.
0%, 0%. And like they took so many risks in this movie and they all paid off. And I just, no notes. Like this movie just crushes me every time. I think worse this time around. I was texting Adam earlier today, being like, I have been sobbing by myself for the last like 15 minutes. Like I cannot stop. And then you told me that you were watching it with your cousin. I was like, buckle up, Buttercup, because it's a doozy. Like it's
Yes. And
coming for you.
this disclaimer, do not watch this movie with your kids. Just don't do it. It's not good for your mental health. It's not good for your life because, oh my God, when the ending, I mean, I just think one of the most beautiful, incredible endings of all time. I mean, just incredible. And, just literally like, so when Toy Story 3 or when the whole big garbage scene happened in the incinerator, Ella started getting a little scared, so she came up and like sat right next to me and Liam was laying next to me on the couch. And I was just like holding them and like just rubbing their backs and saying, "It's okay, I promise everyone's gonna be fine. I've seen this movie." And Liam's like, "Are you sure? How do you know that?" I'm like, "I've seen this, I promise it's gonna be good." And then everyone was fine. And then obviously it cuts to the ending and just like obviously it's about toys, but it's so much about growing up and moving off to college and seeing Andy's empty room and his mom breaking down and the things happening and then Woody saying so long, partner. I'm just like, you guys need to just chill. This is too much right now. I can't handle this.
Oh, well, and Toy Story for both of us has shut up the list with our kids
Oh
recently
yeah.
because we have a Buzz action figure and Charlie's been walking around with it like to infinity and beyond. And like I see him holding Piggy and I think about like how Piggy is like his Woody, you
Yeah,
know?
right.
Like I'm just like he told me the other day that Piggy hangs out at his headquarters because apparently Charlie has a headquarters in our house now. Like does training and like takes people on the train, like the monorails.
Oh my God. That's
Okay, Charlie, you have a really big imagination for a 2-year-old, but like, all right, but like Piggy like hangs out in headquarters. He's like, oh yeah, Piggy's in headquarters. Okay, cool.
that's so funny.
Like I immediately see my kids doing this to me, and I just can't. I just can't. I
Yeah.
0%.
I mean, even before kids, like my history with this movie, it's similar to the other Toy Stories where I've always loved the movies and obviously what they've done for the culture and all that kind of stuff. But this one I think is definitely, I mean, I have such a fondness for the first one, obviously, but this one hits those emotional beats that the first one doesn't hit all the times with those things, and just completes it so full circle and just knocks it out of the park. And of course, we have to talk once again. I think we need to take up some grievances with Mr. Lee Unkrich, who decided to direct this film and then go on to Coco and just whatever this dude had does that knows how to just destroy your life. Because my God,
Seriously.
dude, are you kidding me? Oh my God. I know it's like more than just him, but like these two movies, like the ending of Toy Story 3 is like up there with Coco, with like all these other films that just,
Lilo and Stitch, I
yeah,
feel like
Lilo and Stitch is,
the
yeah.
perfection of like just how it closes out and just like the no notes, no notes.
Yeah, it is just so good. And it's once again, it's an interesting concept of taking the toys and growing with Andy. And I think one of the biggest things that's has always stuck with me in this movie too is like the beginning of the film. I think is such, so we talk about obviously how the ending is incredible, but the beginning is so incredible because in the first movie we see Andy playing with his toys, and it's the wild wild west, but it's all boxes and his imagination. But in this one we're seeing it come to life. It's so awesome. Like it's just such a brilliant callback and tie-in to the first film, which we talked about how these movies just build upon themselves so perfectly. And it's not in your face. Like they don't really even show Andy doing the imagination this time, but you know from the first film that this is what Andy does and this is what he sees in his head. And it's perfect. It's perfect.
Uh, well, that plus the montage, like this montage, and I think the Up montage are some of the best montages ever.
Yeah.
Like they just capture you and they put you in this moment and with the music and oh,
Oh, and I don't know if you noticed this because I noticed this a few years back when I was I think watching it with Liam when he was like a baby, and this kind of stuck to me, and I'm like, Pixar, once again, you need to chill. This is like you're getting a little too like high, big for your britches, whatever it is. But in the whole montage, it's all like home video and filming and stuff like that. And it's you got a friend in me, you got a friend in me, blah blah blah. And then like it ends with, and our friendship will never die. And when
yes,
it does that, it starts
static.
like static happens, and then it cuts right after that. And it's like, what is going on? Like I didn't notice that the first a few times I watched it, and that hit me like a few years ago, and I'm just like, you just it's just
Sure.
I can't believe like how many things that aren't just in your face but are just so telling about this movie and what happens and what it's like. It's just, oh my God, it's unbelievable that's like so haunting. It's like,
It's so haunting. I was watching it and I was like, oh my God.
we're in for some trouble.
Oh, put on your seatbelt. They're coming
Yes.
for you. Oh,
Oh my
ah,
God. But yeah,
movie.
I know it's so good. And the whole Lotso part of it and that he smells like strawberries is so funny. And obviously Barbie and Ken and then the toys and the things. It's just like there's so many great moments that they really just it's the culmination of so much. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it really does just complete this perfect trilogy. It just makes the whole thing complete. And so then, yeah, we talk about like, does Toy Story 4 need to exist? And then like Toy Story 5. But I think there is some room. Like, the more I'm watching it, the more I can appreciate it. But after Toy Story 3, I was like, they better not make another movie.
I know.
It's gonna
It
ruin
is
it.
perfect. Yeah.
It's perfect in every way. And I think it was a point in time too, because it like Andy was me, you
Yeah,
know?
right. Yeah, like I said, we talked about
Oh,
this a little bit last week with Toy Story 2 is like we're just like the perfect age for these films. Like we literally grew up with these movies and it's like speaking to us in such a way. And I don't know if maybe one day they will make the Toy Story where Andy's a parent or something, and he somehow, because like they always have Bonnie's like, you have to take care of these for me, Bonnie. Maybe one day I'll get back to Andy. I don't know exactly, but like that's up until college and stuff. This was speaking to us so much.
It really did, and I think it was a generation thing like that made this so impactful. And I think it hit everybody, but I think those of us that grew up with this and we were Andy, like it felt very different.
Yeah, without a doubt. And so I think it's probably pretty close to jumping into the film itself, unless you have any other top level things to talk about. But we always also like diving deep into kind of the history of this films. And this is another interesting one because we talk about how, spectacular this film is, a perfect culmination, everything. But this film, once again, almost didn't happen the way we thought it was going to be. So if you listen to our past shows or if you're familiar with the story of Toy Story, like Pixar started with Toy Story and then they made an agreement with Disney. So this was before Pixar purchased Disney. And so, or Disney purchased Pixar, sorry, the other way around. So there was a whole big fight back and forth. And, they eventually made the film and then they came back for the sequel, but there was still a lot of contention between the two and trying to make it happen. But basically, they made kind of like a 7 film deal with Walt Disney World Company. And Disney basically owned the rights to make the sequels, and Pixar retained the first right of refusal to actually work on these sequels. So, like, Disney had a lot of control, obviously, because they're the big player. So, Pixar obviously had a lot to offer, but Disney, being Disney, had a lot that they had to do. So, there was a lot of fighting. So, like, every Toy Story movie, we have this story of Disney and Pixar fighting. In the first one, there was the Black Friday incident where literally they almost canceled Toy Story forever and all this stuff. And it's kind of a crazy saga that any of this stuff actually happened anyway. But basically, Michael Eisner kind of put in plans to produce Toy Story 3 at a new Disney studio called Circle 7 Animation. So it originally wasn't even going to be done by Pixar. So there were actually a few different scripts that went through the process. So one of them was an idea that Andy and his toys would pay a visit to Andy's grandmother's house for the night because his room was getting remodeled. And a set of Andy's toys and new characters, Hee Hee and Gladiola, try to figure out who is stealing the toys one by one in a whodunit style murder mystery story.
What?
So we almost
That's
got
not terrifying at all.
I know. So we almost got a murder mystery story in Grandma's house, which is like hilarious in a sense,
No
but
kid would ever go to grandma's house again.
I know, right? Oh my gosh. And it's funny because a little bit of that kind of maybe got its way into Toy Story 4, maybe a little bit because it's like the antique shop and different things like that. I don't know if there's like a little bit of that, but it was just funny, like how different of a film that would have been. Just like it felt like just another kind of that Toy Story 3.
Installment, another
Yes,
installment
exactly.
in the
100%. That's the
story.
word I was looking for.
Like, the Hardy Boys or Nancy Drew, where there's just like, oh, they have another story that they're
Yes.
going on, and it follows the formulaic plot, and that would have been,
And I'm
another
sure
one.
it would have been great and made millions of dollars. It would have been great, but yeah, this it's funny because so then that switched over and Meet the Parents screenwriter Jim Hertzfeld actually put a final version of the script together, which was about Andy's toys shipping a malfunctioning Buzz to a factory in Taiwan where he was built. And so they found that there were a lot of other Buzz Lightyear toys are malfunctioning, and there was a massive recall. So they were basically not going to be able to get Buzz back. So Andy's toys, Woody and all the friends, would ship themselves to Taiwan to try to rescue Buzz. And at the same time, Buzz would meet toys from around the world that were once loved but have been recalled, like Rosie, a warm, cozy toy, Jade, a leggy doll with an evening gown. And there was also even a new Star Command action figure that was going to be the replacement of Buzz called Dax Blastar. And so he had a pet cat named Comet, which is kind of like socks, like maybe something like that. But that's a whole nother like world traveling tale that Toy Story 3 almost was that it wasn't.
That blows my mind.
So
Because how
yeah,
could it be anything but what it is?
right? Exactly. It's so wild. So, like I said, there were all these story treatments, and that was all, well and good as with any film, and not just Disney and Pixar, but they go through a bunch of different treatments. But in 2006, Disney bought Pixar, and so when that happened, John Lasseter and Edwin Catmull got put in charge of Disney Animation. So that obviously changed everything because John Lasseter was the director of the first 2 films. Like Disney actually wanted John Lasseter for Toy Story 2 and like didn't really want Pixar. They just wanted John Lasseter. So he was kind of in charge of Disney Animation and they basically shut down Circle 7 Animation, Pixar came back to do all this stuff, and John Lasseter came in with Andrew Stanton and Pete Docter and Lee Unkrich, who, if you're Disney and Pixar fans, those names are like legends in the story because they're the ones responsible for so many of the stories and films that we love. And they kind of brought their own idea of the sequel that they'd carried around for years. And even though they actually they didn't really go into too much detail about what that first pitch was, but they didn't love it so much. So they actually went back and like had a whole basically big group meeting and watched the first two films together, and then that's where they kind of developed this new story. So basically it really was like a back to the basics, which is I think why we got Toy Story 3, because it was taking these grand swings. It's traveling to Taiwan, it's going to grandma's house. They had this big idea that these people have been carrying forever, but really what it ended up being, it seems like, is they just went back to what made Toy Story special and what it was, and they felt that this was the time to kind of bring it home. And now we have Toy Story 3, and it's it's pretty wild.
That a journey, we always talk about like journeys are not linear, like they all kind of go over the place. But this one I feel like really
I know,
wilder.
right? It was almost like so different and just another installment once again, which would have been great. But now there's Toy Story 3, which made over $1 billion in the box office, was an unbelievable end to the trilogy and all that stuff. And it was, yeah, something crazy, something special.
Seriously special movie is what it is.
Yes, definitely. And maybe that's a good point to jump into our outline and talk about Toy Story 3, which was released on, drumroll please, June 18th, 2010, which is the same day as we're releasing this just 15 years later. Happy anniversary. Happy birthday, Toy Story 3. Hope you have a great one. But anyway, we open on a train heist in the Wild West, and this is basically Toy Story's one opening come to life, as we mentioned, and it's perfect. We then get a home video style montage of Andy playing with his toys, and then it cuts to the future where Andy is getting ready to leave for college. And as we mentioned before, we just get our friendship will never die static, just destroying our lives and everything. And that's that's the opening, the hauntingly beautiful opening of Toy Story 3.
Yeah, perfect, pretty much perfect in every way.
Yeah, this and like and then we get to see a little bit of, and it's kind of cool too because we kind of get to see a little bit of Toy Story 1 in like from 1995 to 2010's animation style. And Molly makes an appearance and she's not terrifying like horrifying Molly.
Well,
She's
we said that Toy Story 2, she had grown to be
right.
not fine. Thank God. Thank God. But in the home videos, even when they were going back to 1995, she wasn't scary
I
anymore.
know, seriously. So that it was really funny to see that. But then we kind of have this big meeting of everyone where like Andy's getting ready for going to college. They're still in the toy chest, which Andy still keeps them and stuff. And we get some like crazy moments, like the freaking army men just like saying it's been an honor serving with you, and them just like floating off into the sunset. I'm just like, oh my God, guys. And we get some callbacks to Wheezy and Etch and Bo Peep and other toys that have kind of been left behind or put till the attic or kind of going at that, because that's kind of where it's at. It's like they're either going to get thrown away or they're going to be sent to the attic, which is like sounds sad, but they'll all be together. That's like a great thing. And there's like a beautiful moment where it's like, well, maybe Andy will have kids one day and then we'll get to get played with. And it's kind of like a beautiful thing. And it's like, oh man, it's crazy. This is like their fate, but they still have this mission of like wanting to be there for Andy and doing all that stuff. And it's a tough situation that our favorite toys are in.
Well, I thought it was important that they had this big moment of trying. They had one last hurrah where they were
Yes.
trying really hard to get played with, right? Like
Yeah.
that was important to them. And then that comes back at the end where they were like, just one more time. We just want to get played with one more time. Like Operation Playtime was a long shot,
Right.
Like,
Yep.
and so that becomes important at the end when it all comes back together. But at the time, you're just like, oh, like, okay, go into addict mode. Okay.
Yeah, and it's like a beautiful thing. And then, we get like this whole scene where Andy comes in, he's like, "Oh, no one wants this junk. No one wants these toys." And obviously that comes back where the toys are hearing this, even though they're not reacting. But Andy's just growing up. He's not like there's always that little kid inside of him that's like always gonna be there that loves these toys. It's like, it's kind of it was kind of a sad thing. So Liam's birthday was last week. And the 2 days before and day before, like when I was putting him to bed, he was like, I don't want to turn 6. I want to stay 5. Like he wants to like just be 5 forever. He doesn't want to grow up. And I tried to tell him, I was like, you have to remember, like, you're not losing 5. You're gaining 6. Like you'll always have that 5-year-old. Like I'm 37 years old now, and like that 5-year-old is still as strong as ever. And like that's always going to be kind of a part of you and something that's so special. And like that's always going to be. So I promise you're not losing anything. It's just great. You're gonna get to do more things and do all that stuff. And this is kind of like what that was, where Andy is a big teenager. He's going off to college. He's an adult. He doesn't need these toys anymore. But there's always that little kid that's always going to be inside of him. And I think they played that kind of so beautifully and kind of tragically in the scene.
Well, and I think too, they play this realistic, like I think we all sometimes want to be older than we are,
Yes,
or
definitely.
we say things we don't mean, as a way to potentially seem like we're more mature or more, worldly or whatever it might be. And, Molly he's trying to look cool in front of Molly and,
Molly's like, I get all this
unentitled.
stuff. You're gone in 2 days, whatever.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think there's just this reality that sometimes we say these things, we don't actually mean them.
Right.
And that comes back to haunt you when you say things you don't mean in the moment, especially if you don't clarify verbally that you didn't mean it.
Right. Exactly. So true. So yeah, so that obviously comes back and haunts him. But until then, we get, the scene of Andy's kind of going through because his mom's like, hey, we got to clean this stuff up. It's trash day today, blah, 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 blah. So they have this one final plan to try to get him played. Andy doesn't really notice them. But then he kind of is like looks back, he looks and he's like, you know what? I do love these guys. So he puts them in a box for the attic. They all think they're going to be together, but then he grabs Woody and he's going to college, and everyone's like, "Oh my God." And so there's this whole bag in the attic, and Andy's going to put him up in the attic. There's like the big door in the ceiling with the ladder that comes down, and he's about to do it. It's all going to be great, but then Molly distracts him. Andy puts the toys on the floor and gets distracted. The door closes. His mom comes in, thinks it's a trash bag, and goes and puts them on the curb. And Woody's like, "Oh God, oh God, oh God, what is
What a
happening? This is
mistake!
not
It's a mistake!
yes, freaking out. And I just love this scene where he's like, Buster, like, come on, Buster, like, come and get it, let's do it. And Buster's so old and can't even move and just like falls on him. And it's like, oh, you poor old doggy. It was so,
Well, and it's just so funny because it's like such a callback because Toy Story 2, they have this whole relationship in this scene where he's like going after him and like Buster's really important to the heist, you know?
yes, right.
And like
They've been done this a
now
million times before. It's like a commonplace, but
now we're 14 years later, however long it's been, and
time
it's
is a
not.
cruel beast. Time is a cruel beast. So unfortunately, Buster can't help him, but he still makes his way outside. But then he sees that his friends he thinks are getting crushed by Trash Man Sid, who's returning, which is such a fun little nod that's not so in your face, but you see that iconic skull on his chest, and you're like, oh my God, is that Sid? And yes, that is Sid. That is his career now, the Trash Man. And luckily they weren't crushed. They escaped thanks to Rex's tail and some quick thinking from the toys. And you see them kind of going in like a little recycle bin into the garage, which is funny.
Was funny.
And Woody tries to convince them that Andy was just putting them in the attic. You're not throwing them away, guys. Come on, don't listen. But they were already like, he called us junk. He didn't want us anymore. This is the end. Go to college. Go do your thing. This wasn't what it was. And basically, Woody can't convince them of the truth. They heard what they heard. They were stuck in a bag. They were on the curb. They almost got crushed. And this is what they think. And so they're headed in a donation box for Sunnyside Daycare.
Yeah, and Jessie is excited about it. She's like, I'm gonna take the lead. You go to college, college boy, like get out of
Yeah.
here, go be with Andy, but we're going and everybody's going to daycare and they're all excited about it.
Yeah. Of course, I think earlier Jesse had like a thing like I can't have this happen again, like Emily or whatever. It's things. It's like,
Yeah, it's
oh
like
man.
Emily all over again.
Yes, exactly. So that was I know it's there's so many layers, so many layers. So the toys arrive at this daycare that Andy used to go to, and it initially seems like a dream come true. It's happy and bright and wonderful. All the toys are being played with. The little babies are so
Butterfly,
cute.
the butterfly
Oh
room.
yeah, the butterfly room, right? Yeah, the butterfly room is so sweet. The kids are so nice. And then we meet Lotso Huggin' Bear, Big Baby, and Ken, who Barbie instantly falls in love with. And they kind of get a tour of this whole new area and all this stuff. And it's this whole beautiful place. It feels like paradise. Everything is great. Even Woody admits that it's pretty nice. But like he obviously still says he needs to get back to Andy and can't believe the other toys won't follow. But it's kind of it seems like this is the dream. This is where all toys should aim to be. It's such a beautiful place.
this, and they'd like play like
Oh
Dreamweaver.
yeah, right.
And that's
Yes.
like, oh, it's so great. And I love the, with Ken, and it's like I have a whole room for trying on clothes.
Yes. I know. They also had like Rex had a whole bunch of dinosaur friends. There were like Mrs. Potato Head was playing with the muscles of another toy, and like the aliens had this claw like it was like a construction vehicle or something. Like there were so many little fun things to like have these toys feel like they've kind of hit the jackpot.
Yeah, it just made me really sad, like with Buzz too, where he was like, our mission is complete. I
Yeah.
was like, oh.
I know. Oh my gosh.
And then they're all like, we were supposed to stay together, but he doesn't care about them anymore. And one thing that struck me in this was how Woody was being really selfish, like pulling out all the stops, all the manipulation. Like
Right.
he was going full force, like damn the torpedoes, full steam ahead, and blow up every relationship that I have and be so mean.
Because yeah,
No,
he's like, yeah,
that.
he can't believe that they like wouldn't go back to Andy, but because he knows the truth, but they don't, or they don't believe it yet. And there's like this, he can't convince them, so he's kind of going back to that like Toy Story 1 Woody a little bit, where he just his like some of that like meanness comes out a little bit, but he's so sure of himself, and he was obviously trying to get back to Andy because he's going to college, so there's that part of it where he was chosen, where the other ones weren't, even if they were all going to go to the attic. So there's like so many things going into it.
Yeah, I think he wrote down the line, this is it after all
Oh, I
we've
know,
been through.
right? Ugh.
Oh, jeez. Jeez.
Then, and then not even shaking Buzz's hand, and then oh my God, when Bullseye comes up to him, it's like, oh no. That was so heartbreaking. Bullseye's
I
like, what do you
also,
mean? What do you mean?
yeah, it's so sad. I also like how we were introduced earlier to Bonnie, like as like a side, like just like almost like it felt like a throwaway, but it was so important that we met Bonnie.
Oh
And so I
yeah.
thought that was a really nice like
Yes,
tie-in.
definitely.
There's so many things where they like plant the seeds and let them grow, like it just
Right.
constantly.
Yes, it was so great. And so as Woody after Woody leaves, the truth is basically revealed, and they're in an older kid's room. What's the caterpillar room? I think this one was or something.
Yeah, the caterpillar room is for the babies.
Yep. So this is, and they are terrors. Oh my God, disgusting. Toys getting stuck up noses and drooled on and hit with and all this stuff. It sounds just like a terrible, terrible place to be. And it was, oh my God, such a disaster and so different from the peacefulness that they were kind of promised and all this stuff. And so obviously, when all the toys were trying to recover after the big day, they try to get Buzz to go plea with Lotso because they're like, is a reasonable bear. He'll help us out, all this kind of stuff. So he goes to plead to Lotso, and they go to this like back alley card. They're playing like a game or whatever. And
Bendy.
yes, right, exactly. And we kind of see all of Lotso's henchmen, and of course the monkey, the scary monkey with the symbols. Oh my gosh. And I know, definitely. And tries to convince him that, you know what, they need to be in a better room. They're not really meant for this room. But this is where we start learning the truth about this whole thing, and they basically grab Buzz, turn him into demo mode, and he's basically another henchman for Lotso's tyrannical police state that he has going on at Sunnyside Daycare.
Really, though, he is like dictator. Mussolini has nothing on Lotso.
Seriously, it's intense. And so, we kind of get a little bit here. We go back to the other toys and Mrs. Potato Head, who we have this whole thing where when the film starts, she's kind of missing her eye. And then we kind of finally see as they're packing Andy's room up and doing stuff that Andy's searching for them and is actually Woody was telling the truth, which happens a lot where they don't believe Woody because obviously he does some things that maybe he didn't handle it the proper way. So it's like they don't really believe him, but they kind of find out that Andy was actually searching for them. So they try to escape and find their way out and do this stuff, but they get caught by Buzz, who's under Lotso influence, and are basically put in like toy jail.
With the bins and
Yes,
the curfews and the it was very intense.
I
I
know.
was wow.
And yeah, and you see like the monkey symbols like watching everything. He's like just has his eyes on everything. It's just like Big Brother is just everywhere.
Yeah, seriously.
So then we get kind of a glimpse at Bonnie's house because Woody has this big escape where he goes into the bathroom and he finds like a glider and you think he's safe, but then he flies into the sky and then he comes back and then he gets caught on a tree and then Bonnie finds Woody and is like, "Oh, my cowboy! This is a great cowboy!" So it kind of brings him home. And this is when Woody meets some of her toys, including Chuckles, the clown, and kind of learns the backstory of Lotso and Big Baby, who were all owned by a girl named Daisy. And they were accidentally lost during a road trip and did all they could to get home. However, when they got home, they found out that they replaced Lotso with a new one. And that was pretty sad. It's like, oh man, Lotso couldn't handle this. And I'm like, I get it. That's got to be pretty heartbreaking. It's like the same toy, but it's not.
Yeah, so it reminds me of my husband Sean when he was a kid. He had Elmo. He was obsessed with Elmo. He called him Melmo, and and like he was ratty and disgusting, and so they like put him in the like washing machine or whatever, and they tried to give him a new one. He goes, "That's not my Melmo," like he knew that it wasn't the same one, and so but like this is like she thought it was the same or was willing to accept
Right.
that like it
They
was this
found him.
wasn't versus Sean who was like, no,
I
don't
know the
try to
truth. I
trick
know the
me.
truth. Yeah, it's a sad thing, and you can see why Lotso. Once again, you kind of see like all these toys have these stories. Like Jesse had a story, and all these other kids about it. Just kids grow up, they lose things, they move on, they do stuff. It's not easy being a toy. I'm telling you. I get it. It's a tough life being a toy.
But what I think is dastardly about Lotso is that I get it. He lost kind of his grip on reality and he struggled because he was replaced. Understood. But like to be an asshole and totally make all these other toys go with along with him and like be like, you were all replaced, we've all been
Oh
replaced,
yeah,
and like
right.
make it all about everyone instead of just being like, I'm bummed that I've been replaced. Like, wow, takes a whole new level of like evil genius and henchman in there to
Yes.
like make that happen.
Yeah, it
Like
does.
wild.
It really does. And that's like his whole MO. I mean, he's just like he gets you into a sense of comfort with his strawberry scent and his fuzziness. And he's like then he has this leadership ability. He's like an old man, like he has a cane. So like you think he's just doing his thing, but there's so much manipulation and things going on behind the scenes with this bear. Oh my goodness.
Well, I'm watching it this time. And just every like on the rewatch, but specifically this time because I knew we were going to be talking about it. The seeds of his manipulation, like not once you know that he's the bad guy, it's kind of like in Frozen when like you realize that all along he's been the bad
Oh
guy
yeah.
and
Hans or
oh
whatever, right? I think yeah.
yeah, and so you're going back and you're like, what did I miss?
Yes, right.
Like all the seeds are there. Like
Yes.
the way that he talks and the manipulation and the oh, and you're like, oh, like now instead of feeling like fatherly and like old man, like gentle soul, you feel like, oh, there's like that feels icky.
Yeah, right. I know. And you can even see like at the beginning too, not even just Lotso, but when all the toys are doing, you see like the little phone toy like tries to warn Woody a little bit, and there's like little things that you could see where there's like something's just not quite right here. And even like Big Baby, like kind of creepy, but like the music they play is so peaceful. So you're like, oh, he's fine. And things. So there's just like so many little things when you go back and watch. It's definitely a fun thing to rewatch.
Yeah, all the clues that they left.
Yes.
Because yeah, when Lotso turned out to be the bad guy, I remember being shocked.
Yes, I know. Oh my gosh. But yeah, no, it's before we kind of jump back to the gang and all that stuff. I also do want to give a shout out to Mr. Prickle Pants and Buttercup and Trixie because they're pretty cool toys. I enjoyed their their attitudes and their personalities. They were pretty fun additions to the gang.
Oh, I loved them. I thought they were funny because they're like, "There's no escape." No, just kidding. Like the door's over there, and like,
Right.
you want to internet? And like Trixie has like her dino
Oh
friends
my
that she
God.
messes. So funny.
Yeah, they were all really, really good. So the body's good people and has a good group that our friends are eventually going to join. So that was fun.
Yeah, like, and I loved how they were like, "Where did you train?" Like, you seem like you're classically trained. Like,
Yes,
you're
right.
so good.
So great. Oh, but of course, Woody, who can't leave anyone behind, has to find his way back to Sunnyside and works to help his friends escape. And in the process,
Even though Bonnie was only around the, or Woody was, or Andy was only around the corner from Bonnie's house,
oh
so he was
right,
this close to making it
Yes.
back to Andy, and he's like, "No toy left behind. I must go back and rescue the gang from Sunnyside. Evil Lotso."
And that's what and Andy says that at the end too to Woody that he just can never leave anyone behind. And it's just that's who he is. He's the most loyal, even though he's a little abrasive sometimes. He's the best of friends you could have. So he heads back to Sunnyside and works to help his friends escape. And in the process, we get the introduction to the incredible Spanish mode Buzz Lightyear, who falls
Hall of
instantly
Fame.
in love with Jesse.
Hall of Fame. I just, it's so excellent.
I think I may have to agree and allow this because it is Buzz, so he's like a main character, but like it's not Buzz,
It's
but it's
not
also just
us.
so good. And we get You Got a Friend in Me in Spanish, which is just such a banger of a song. I think I will back your nomination for Spanish Buzz Lightyear.
Excellent. It's done.
Oh yes, excellent. It's done. So yes, I think we have a new addition to the Talking Disney Magic Hall of Fame, and I've been meaning to. Don't didn't we write this down somewhere so I don't leave off
We wrote
socks
it
this
down.
time?
I'm adding him right now.
So Vanessa, who does Spanish Buzz join now?
Spanish Buzz joins Grammatala, Mr. Bubbles, Rafiki, Massimo, Figaro, and Socks,
And Machiavelli with
and
Massimo.
Machiavelli.
Awesome. That is such a great list. But yeah, I think that's a perfect addition. He's
He fits right in.
just the swagger, the dancing, the music changes, the everything. It's just oh my God, it's just perfect.
An amigo or an amigo?
Yes.
Amigo? Oh, I must have forgotten. I
Oh
was
my
reading the
gosh.
titles and I was like, oh wow. And then he has the swag. And he gets so upset when he thinks that Jesse's into Woody, which she's totally not. She's always been into Buzz.
Right.
And like he just has to show up and like
Like pushes him aside, walks away. It's just the
yeah.
faces. Yes. And it's like so great too because like at the end in the credits when before they kick into the Spanish song and when the Spanish song kicks in like there's a little bit of Spanish Buzz left in Buzz too like he has this moment it's like oh it's so good.
And Jesse's like, just give into it, Buzz. You
Yeah.
got this. And they do this. The salsa dancing is
Oh
just
God,
so good.
it's incredible. No, once again, no notes, 10 out of 10, incredible.
Seriously.
So the toys escape with their top tier stealth moves, trying to block out everything, and like with the help of like Mr. Tortilla Head, I think it was, Mr. Picklehead, and trying to get through the sandbox. They have this once again. These toys always have these grand, incredible plans that somehow work, even though it's crazy. But I did like Mr. Tortilla Head and Mr. Picklehead. That was pretty good.
Hilarious. Also, I love how they were like they all had like roles to play, and
Uh-huh.
Barbie was like shredding Ken's clothes as the
Yes.
torture mechanism. So,
So good. Oh, I love it.
and I love how she named all the outfits, and he was just like, "I'm cool." And then it got to the one where he's like, "No!"
It's just so
Oh, and then I loved when Barbie was going in the astronaut outfit to go and get the thing, and he was like looked at her high heeled shoes and was like, "Oh well, I guess Ken's wearing high heels." Like, totally, like, yeah, I can see that.
it tracks. Everything tracks perfectly.
Oh my gosh, it was so good, like all of it, and they all had their parts to play, and they had this like master plan. It was so great.
It was. It was a great escape plan that worked until they got to the dumpster because unfortunately they broke let's say they broke Chatter telephone, unfortunately. Poor guy who revealed that they were trying to escape and they corner them at the dumpsters of Sunnyside Daycare. And they have this like whole big thing where that octopus is like pushing them closer into the trash too and stuff. And so all kind of seems lost, but then they kind of flip the script because Woody kind of got the Daisy locket from I think Chuckles it was or whatever and brought it and threw it to Big Baby and was like she didn't leave you like you guys got lost. This is what it was. It's kind of like it's a similar thing to what he was trying to convince his friends at the beginning. It's like this is the truth. I know you may think it's something else, but this is not actually what it was. And so they finally convince him that hey, maybe Lotso is not the great leader they think he is, and has been lying not only to the toys but to them, to about everything. And Big Baby goes all Darth Vader and throws him into the dumpster, and this whole big triumphant victorious moment. But unfortunately, he kind of grabs Woody, and all the toys jump in after him, and then they're on their way to a landfill.
Yeah, because the dump truck is on its way throughout this entire thing. It's very High stakes
Yes.
drama. Will they make it? They don't.
Yeah, I know, right? And it's kind of like it's another fun little. Once again, there's so many fun little things in the movie, like glow in the dark Buzz. Like you don't even think about it, but he's just like shining bright in the in the trash, and it's just
Everybody got a buzz.
yes,
He's still in Spanish mode and
still in
doesn't
Spanish
understand
mode.
anything that's happening around him.
Exactly. It's so great. So, they kind of eventually do get Buzz back to normal Buzz, but they soon find
Well,
themselves on a
he gets crashed into by the
oh
TV.
yeah, right,
He
exactly.
totally gets crushed in oblivion. And we're
Seriously.
upset.
That was a massive drop too. I was like, oh my gosh. Oh, so that was pretty funny. But yeah, so we have Buzz back, but they're on this conveyor belt towards Doom, and they use kind of there's like a magnet thing where everyone's trying to grab on something to escape this grinder and shredder of all these toy of all the trash, which is once again, this is when Ella was like, yeah, this is getting a little too real, Daddy. Come over here. But then they make it through, and all seems good, but then they see daylight, but then Woody's like, I think it was Woody. He was like, "That's not daylight. It's an incinerator." And so once again, this is I think before this part or whatever, they found Lotso who was kind of trapped, and it was like, "Sheriff, help me, Sheriff!" And of course, can't leave anybody behind, so they save Lotso, and everything seems good. They're trying to escape and make their way. They see this emergency stop button. Everything's good. They help Lotso get up there, and what does he do? Does he have his redemptive moment? He does not.
So,
So long, Sheriff. And just is lets the crew to their fate, and they fall into this massive terrifying pit of trash that oh my gosh, what a scene. Are you kidding me?
it's terrible. And then the worst part is watching them all come to grips with the fact that they're just gonna die and they're gonna do it together and they're all gonna hold hands and they all look at each other and they're all like leaning into each other like we love each other so much and yet we're all gonna die.
I mean, once again, Bullseye, like he's like he like doesn't know what's happening, is moving, and then Jesse kind of puts the hand on the paw and he calms down, and then like it's a whole big circle when Woody grabs Slinky's like hand and stuff, and just yeah, like the acceptance of what's coming is just like, oh my God, this
At
is a
least
kids
we're
movie? What?
together, right?
Yes,
Like
right,
that's
exactly.
really what the vibe was. And I was like, oh.
Yes, it's like they're together forever, no matter what that means. That's like what this whole message is. It's like through thick and thin, through life and death, whatever's happening, it's they're together. And it really seems like it's the end, but then we get one of the biggest reveals and kind of like home run callback moments of all time when the claw comes in and actually is the
Whoa.
claw and saves them and picks them up, and then we see that the aliens are kind of manning the controls and stuff. And I mean, just, I mean, I mean, we sound like broken records, but it's just perfect. It's perfect in every sense of the way.
Yeah, and then they come back and it's you have saved our lives, the potato heads. We're
Yeah.
eternally grateful, like, oh.
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's just calling right back to that first movie and just bringing it back in such a big and bold and, obviously over the top ridiculous way, but it just works so well in the context of this world. It's so great. And so everybody's saved, the day is saved, and then we kind of cut over to Lotso on the side, who gets picked up by another trash crew and gets put right on the grill. And one of the frogs is like, "You better close your mouth, buddy, because you're going to be eating a lot of bugs." And that is the fate of our dear Lotso.
No, he deserves worse than that, honestly. But it's life in prison, I
Yeah,
guess.
exactly. So that's they're all saved thanks to the aliens and the claw, and everything is great. And then Woody and the gang find another truck and see that it's going to get
The
home.
same
And
guy, the Pizza Planet guy.
yeah, right. Oh yeah,
He's
yeah.
like doing the down like the music from the movies. The last two movies, it's always been the Pizza Planet guy. I think they get him fired because they take his car and they do crazy things with it.
I think you're right, actually. I didn't even think about that. That's funny. Oh my gosh. So then they get so yeah, but this is another scene where we get Mrs. Potato Head looking through her other eye, because once again Andy's room is just getting less and less of Andy's room, and we see that he's really get pretty much close to being done with getting ready to go to college. And so so they hop on the trash truck and get home at the perfect time when Andy's car is basically all filled up. They rush into Andy's room, and Woody leaves or goes to his college box, and they go into their to the donation box, or the attic box, whatever it was. And
Attic.
then yeah, the attic box, right. So everything seems good, but once again, Woody just has this moment. Just, obviously his mission has been Andy his whole life, but there's also Like he can't leave his friends behind. He can't leave everybody to the attic. He can't go on without them. And I think he is realizing too, once again, that like what Buzz said earlier, like their mission is complete. Like they helped Andy. They completed their mission in helping Andy become an adult and finding his way and becoming who he is. And it's time for what's next. And it's like this big moment where he jumps out of the college box, like his dream. He's going to college with Andy. He gives that up to write a note that we don't really see, but I think it's basically like donate these toys or like some kind of donate these toys or this should be donation. Like, is that kind of what you got from the note?
I believe that it's you should donate these to Bonnie. Like she's really nice to toys, and
Yeah.
here's some rest, basically.
Yeah.
Because the one of the comments is like, I hear you're really nice to toys, or I hear you do really you're really good with your toys, or you play really nice with your toys. So I think that he wrote something about Bonnie.
I'm just looking at a quick Google. It says in Toy Story 3, what he wrote simply wrote Bonnie's address to ensure Andy donates his old toys to Bonnie instead of putting them into the attic or anything else like that. It says the note is visible for a few frames when Andy reads it, but I don't know. But yeah, it looks like it looks like it's the address. So
Mm.
that seems to be what it is. So you know what? And Andy kind of confirms it when he talks to his mom. He's like, "You sure we should donate these? This is it? Okay, yeah, okay. This is the way it's gonna be." So Andy is off to college. Oh yeah, this is also we get the moment with him and his mom, and it's just like, oh my God, this is where it starts. I'm just like, oh, this is so brutal.
Whew.
And so we get the view of Andy driving over to Bonnie's house, and the music starts kicking in, and the tears start flowing. And first, Andy walks in, and Bonnie's like a little shy, like, what is happening? Like, I love her look. It's like such a perfect look of when like a stranger comes up to your house, and she's like, "Mom, what's happening here?" and doing stuff. And obviously, the mom kind of recognizes Andy and was like, "Oh my God, you're going to college?" Blah blah blah. And yeah, they kind of get this whole big scene where they learn that Bonnie's really he hears Bonnie's really good with toys and he has these toys that are his best friends and this is all this stuff and he kind of explains each one, which is like such a touching moment of giving them their moment to shine and telling what's so special about these best friends of his that will always mean something and always be a part of him. And when he thinks he's done, Bonnie kind of looks into the box and finds my cowboy. And Andy is kind of shocked. But he then accepts and says Woody has been his friend forever and will never give up on anyone ever. And just goes into this whole speech about Woody and asks Bonnie to take care of him and all this kind of stuff. And it's just, oh my God. Just like,
Well, and they get their one last playtime in the
exactly.
sun. I just can't. Every time I'm like, oh, he like picks him up and it's like it's evil Dr. Porkchop. And I'm
Right?
oh,
And
uh,
and it's like such it's they set it up so beautifully where they play Andy as like, oh, this junk, these like no one's gonna want these toys. It's they're going in the attic and stuff. But when he gets that chance to go back to that 5-year-old or to that young kid, he takes it and he's just like full into what he used to be, riding on his back and playing with it and knocking things down. And it's just one of the most beautiful scenes. It's just so emotional and yeah, I mean it was such a incredible scene to just watch them playing together and seeing Bonnie warm up to him and do all this stuff and just have this moment together. It's like it's kind of like passing the torch, like really. It's really what the scene was, like passing the torch to a future generation, giving like him giving his joy and his love that he had his whole life to somebody else. And it's such a special moment. And I think what's also just so special is how he's like, take care of them for me. Like he still has this care for them and he just like is entrusting this big deal on this little girl, obviously, that really doesn't know the meaning of all this stuff, but we feel it and we know how much these toys mean to him and how much of a moment this is. And it's yeah, it's an all-timer.
it's not even just how much the toys mean to him, it's about how they get their moment, like how it's full circle. They get their moment, their last time to play with Andy, which is what the entire thing was about. This all started
Yes.
because they were trying really hard to get that one last play time in with Andy, and to have it be in this way where he picks up because we when we get into this Bonnie scene, she's playing with her toys, the same ones we've been introduced to from Woody. And so we're introduced to them, and Andy's walking up with this box. He's watching her play, and she's talking about the haunted mansion or whatever. She's, got this haunted thing going on, and oh, they're all coming. And so he is obviously listening, and then he picks that up and he's like, "We can save them," and he does this whole
Oh,
thing,
right, yeah.
and it's like, oh yeah, plays right into that, and it's just like, oh, like he's taking her imagination with his imagination and blending it to be this beautiful thing, and it's just there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
It just every time it's just like the most emotional thing ever because it's just like Andy saying goodbye and getting in the car and driving off to college and you're just like, oh, and then it's so long,
Oh
partner.
God, that
Oh my
was
God. I just
just when you didn't think it could get any worse. Like all the toys sitting on that step, watching him drive away this beautiful street, like highlighted by trees and this beautiful moment and the sun shining bright and just like so long, partner. Like, but there was like a joy in it too, and in the sadness, and he instantly kind of starts introducing everyone to Bonnie's toys, and it's like just such a beautiful moment of acceptance for everybody of what's happening and how people grow up and things happen, and it's like they'll always be together and stuff, and it's so special for everybody.
Oh, I mean, and I'm like, I blubber at this movie, like the big, huge tears. Like I'm not even like I'm just like they're just like falling down my face. Like I literally just can't stop it. Like, and I'm crying right now because it just makes me so emotional just talking about it and just like the feelings it invokes. It's just like and it's just so beautiful and the imagery and just all of it. No notes, no notes.
Yeah, it's just it works on every layer from callbacks to even standalone to what it means for the toys, for the kids, for everything. They just somehow every once in a while the universe just lines up everything perfectly. It's just something just of a masterpiece. And this is what this ending was, and so much of this film was, but in particular this ending is just so special and is such a beautiful closing to Toy Story. And sure, we get Toy Story 4, we're getting Toy Story 5, but that's never going to change what this moment has meant. And like it's not going to ruin that or anything because obviously yeah, we have these things, but for what this means for us, for our generation, for our relationship with kids, with parents, with family, with growing up with toys, they just nail it so perfectly and is why these movies have lasted the test of time and at 15 years it's just as relevant and just as special as it was back then.
Just as heartbreaking, just as like a much of emotional gut punch. The jokes are still funny.
Yeah.
Like these movies are just timeless. They have this timeless quality. They're just so clever and funny and charming, and not every character is perfect, right? Like there's these mean parts of Woody sometimes that come out when he's not getting his way or when he feels like he's being questioned and like they don't try to polish those edges to make Woody this perfect, you know, the leader of the crew. They make
Right.
him have human
Yeah, because nobody's
imperfection.
perfect. It's real.
Yeah. Like everybody's all these has these imperfections and they're always willing to like explore what those mean and the real fears and they make these toys feel real.
Yeah. And
Real.
that's what's so beautiful is like like I said, these are obviously billed as kids movies. There's so much that goes into it. The detractors from the Disney verse and people who make fun of people who like this stuff. And like, well, how do you talk about kids movies or so? It's because the meaning behind these is so real. It's an incredible, talented group of people that came together that created this story and brought this to life from their own personal experiences and their life experiences and trying to capture that human element and that human spirit. And there's a reason these have resonated around the world so many because it is, I'm sure, it's about toys and it's about kids and it's a cartoon, but it's about life. It's about growing up. It's about leaving the stuff you love behind and passing on a brighter future to a new generation. And that's what makes these movies so special. They're not just kids movies. That's why Disney has so much money and has theme parks around the world and has sequels and can do anything they want because they have tapped into that core of what we love and cherish and believe in. And that's why we're here, Vanessa. That's why we're talking about this because these movies have connected so much and like I mean it's brought us together. It's like there was such a beautiful thing is these movies have forged our friendships and what we're doing here and what we've shared with our kids and doing things. And that's why we love this and why it's so special. And this movie just captures that so perfectly.
Why we talk Disney Magic every week.
Exactly. Exactly. It's just so special. And of course, they do that thing that I love so much where the story when it ends it's not quite over because in the credits we get this whole funny or this whole big scene of we get to see them kind of ingratiating themselves into Bonnie's toys in their lives, and we get to see how they're still in touch with Sunnyside, and we like have this whole thing. They thought the like the handwriting they thought was from Barbie, but it's from Ken, which was just such a just so
With the
perfect.
glitter pen. So
Yeah,
great.
so good. And then we see they all made
Cool and
Bonnie's
groovy
wall.
now. Now cool and groovy is their
Oh,
new slogan or whatever.
yeah, right. Exactly. That it's hopefully the sunny side we were promised at the beginning, but now it actually is because Lotso's out of there. But then, back at Bonnie's house, we get the Bonnie's wall of there where she drew every character, had their own page. It was so perfect and so beautiful. And then of course we get You Got a Friend in Me in Spanish with Buzz and Jesse, and just like so many fun. What's like I said, there was a very emotional scene that we just went through, and it just but they didn't end there. They gave us that little bit of like, oh, laughing and bringing it back to it. And that's the beauty of these movies and these moments. And like I said, we've talked, I forget what movies we were talking about it too. It was one of the older ones. Like it's a very kind of Shakespearean or like old style of thing where you put like comedy next to tragedy, and it's like the juxtaposition of those feelings you get makes them even stronger. So like you're feeling these
Comedy.
yeah, right, something like that. It's like you have these tears and these emotions, and then you're laughing, and that strength of feeling gets transferred into something else, and it just makes it so special. And it just, yeah, I mean, it's so good. That's Toy Story 3. It's amazing.
Yeah, one of the best, I think.
Definitely, definitely. Well, Vanessa, do you have any final thoughts before we jump into ranking this thing?
No, just that I think this trilogy is perfect and it's timeless. I
Yeah,
think the more we watch it, like I said, the jokes still hit, they're still funny, they're still relevant. You know, our kids are starting to love these movies as the new generation, and they're just falling in love with these characters, and
the best.
you know they're loving it, and I'm so excited for next week. I think we have like Forky, like
Yes. There's a lot of fun to be had in this, but for now we do have to rank this thing, which is going to be an interesting one. But
yes.
here at Talking Disney Magic, we rank all the biggest films in Disney and Pixar's catalog on a tier list of S, A, B, C, D, and F. As it stands, and Vanessa, I'll send this to you again just so you have
Yeah,
it.
I have it on my
Oh,
phone. I
okay.
I
Cool, cool.
pulled it up.
Awesome. So at S, we have The Lion King, Moana, Lilo and Stitch, Luca, Cinderella, Snow White, and the original Toy Story. At A, we have Toy Story 2, Bambi, A Goofy Movie, Elemental, Strange World, Saludos Amigos, and Encanto. At B, we have Onward, Soul, Raya, and The Last Dragon, Turning Red, Lightyear, Inside Out 2, and Fantasia. At C, we have Moana 2, Wish, Lilo and Stitch live action remake, Dumbo, Pinocchio, Snow White remake, Melody Time, The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, Mufasa, and Fun and Fancy Free, and all by their lonesomes, but still together forever. The three caballeros are holding down D. So Vanessa, I think I must pass the torch to you for this one. Where do you think we should rank Toy Story 3?
Oh boy. So I know we said they can't all be an S, and they're not. You have Toy Story 2 an A.
And hey, if they were, they were. I mean, it is what it is. You gotta play it where it lies, right?
Yeah, yeah, but we can't be seen as like everything's an S, because
Of
not
course,
everything's an S,
because we're tough. We're tough. We're like
Yeah,
really
not
tough.
critics.
We're angry and mean, and yeah, we're tough.
We're lots so,
I
but we
hate things.
smell with strawberries.
I hate things, Vanessa.
Yeah, and we disagree. But this one is an S for me. It really is. Just from like the emotional piece of it, how it ties these things together. It's just there, and Spanish Buzz, like just all of it. All of it is so good.
Spanish Buzz is so good.
It's so good. So first of all, because we can argue about placement in S. If you also agree it's an S, but if it's not an S for you, then we gotta figure out the A. But like first,
Yeah,
but if
of course, of course.
okay, okay, okay,
So
okay.
no, no. So I think for a lot of reasons, I am agreeing with an S for this one. I know, it is what it is. This is our list, and I've no shame in it. It is what it is, and I think, we gave Toy Story an S because of it's. I mean, it's still an incredible movie, but also what it did for Pixar, for Disney, the moment it had, and just like creating this foundation, this incredible world. It's great. And Toy Story 3 is like the realization of everything, and it's the full circle moment. And like I said, we love Toy Story 2. I think it doesn't quite reach those levels, but this has that thing. It has that S thing that all these other films that we've given S's so far have, is that emotion, that meaning, that incredible, like indescribable feeling you get when you watch these things, that you can like see your life and see your moments through these characters and see these things happen. So yeah, definitely agree that it's an S.
All right. So now within placement within S. So I'm looking. So it's Lion King, Moana, Lilo and Stitch, Luca, Cinderella, Snow White, Toy Story. So I think for me, it's at a minimum above Cinderella or above Snow White and Toy Story, the original. We put those together at the bottom because of what you can't really overstate the things they did for the brand, for the, being the first Pixar movie, being the first full-length feature Disney movie. So those obviously are S's for their own reasons. So I think it's
Yes.
above that for me.
Yeah.
Um, I think above Cinderella, just for a lot of the similar reasons. I think Cinderella was just the renaissance of Disney. It was, if without Cinderella, we
It's
wouldn't be
the
here.
story. It is the
Yeah,
story.
it's the story. And the remakes, the amount of remakes on Cinderella and everything are pretty significant.
I was gonna say I'm in a similar kind of place I think you're at too, right? I definitely think I place them above Cinderella. It's not quite Lion King for me. I think it's not quite Moana for me. I think it's like, I think it's between like the Luca, Lilo, and Stitch era. I just think, I don't know,
Yeah,
Moana
that's where I'm
just,
at too.
yeah, Moana just with the family, with the things, like it just, its message and everything is just, and the music, and I don't know. It's that's going to be tough to beat. I'm like having internal struggles of what I'm going to do with Coco when it comes up. Like, am I actually going to put it behind Moana? What's going to happen? I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's tough. But I'm kind of going back and forth between. I think we're kind of in the same area.
Yeah, no, I think I could go right behind Moana in front of Lilo and Stitch. I could also go between Lilo and Luca.
Yeah, I think personally, if I'm thinking about it, like I love, I mean, Lilo and Stitch is just, I mean, it's just so incredible from the movie, from the heart, from the family, from Ohana, from how Stitch literally stitched their family back together. I think it's just incredible. And I don't know, the one reason that I'm like thinking Toy Story 3 kind of is maybe a slot above it is just because of what it comes with, bringing Toy Story with it, bringing Toy Story 2 with it, growing up with this film, becoming like such a part of it and doing things like that. It's like, I think that is kind of hard to understate, which Lilo and Stitch did an incredible job on its own, but like Toy Story has the unfair advantage of being able to draw on years of nostalgia and what it had, and different things like that, and preparing for the future. So I kind of go back and forth, but I don't know,
Yeah, no,
maybe.
I think above Lilo and Stitch, and I think you make a great point. And also on the flip side of that, there was a lot for this movie to lose
Yeah,
from, like, sequels are rarely as good
right,
as the original.
right.
And this is superior to the original. And that is almost unheard of,
Yeah,
right?
and
Because
the
I mean,
original is an all-timer too.
yeah, well, because typically what happens is with every sequel, you lose some of the heart, you lose some of the like reason that it's there, and you it becomes just another installment in this story instead of becoming its own thing that tackles its own, it just becomes the formula, right? Instead of becoming a new formula, a new thing.
Right.
And I think that these three movies in particular, they each have built on each other to build to this wonderful and meaningful and beautiful thing. And so it almost had more to lose than
Yeah.
like a no-name movie, because a no-name movie is just a no-name movie.
But like, what if we got the trip to grandma's house though? Like, what are we thinking there? Or to
What about
Taiwan?
a
I mean,
short? Can we get a short on the trip to
yes.
Grandma's house? And could we get like Rex holding like a bloody knife or something? Like Rex Miller.
We got to make this happen. Halloween special
Spanish
something.
Buzz in the background in the shadows.
Spanish Buzz. Let's make him the like the evil debonair villain in the background, twirly mustache. Come on.
And Barbie and Ken are just like, oh,
Oh,
their
so
fancy
good.
outfits that match Big Baby.
So good. There's millions to be made here, Bobby. Listen to us.
Get this made.
Oh, so good.
I heard we were talking about this, maybe not. They're bringing back bloopers. for like Elio. I think they, you know how in
Oh yeah, I love that. Oh, are they? Oh,
they're
that's
bringing back
awesome.
bloopers. So I'm like, maybe this could be a blooper. Like they were like, we almost told this story and
Oh
we
my God, I love
decided
that.
to bloop it out because it was bad.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I love
All right, so that's our request for Toy Story 5. We want a blooper about Grandma.
that. Of Grandma's house. Come on. It's so good. So many good things. Come on. That could have been the top of the S if you would have just went to Grandma's house. But you did a pretty good job, Toy Story 3.
Whatever.
Whatever. So yeah, so Vanessa, do we think it's number three?
Final
Is that?
one above Lilo and Stitch. Yes,
Yeah.
it is done.
Yes, I think I'm in agreement. I'm all about connected world. We're building worlds, building stories, knocking, and that's like once again, that's always the hardest part is the endings. Nailing the ending is always such a tough thing to do. And like, I mean, there's very few things that in the world that are better than this ending. It's so
And the
good.
beginning with the montage,
Yes.
like
Oh
the two
yes.
montages that open movies. I
Yes.
like I said, it's like up in this where it's like it gets you exactly where you need to be.
Yep.
It like primes the pump and it gets you right into the emotional feels of like why you're here.
Right.
By the way, I saw the Up House in real life today.
What?
I would one of the I'm having Sully's get washed by someone and their house, they were across the street from the hospital and they were the only house and it was all concrete around
What? Oh my God.
all parking lot and the hospital and this one house.
What? That's
I
crazy.
was like, did I just walk into Up?
Did you take a picture, I hope?
They didn't pay like they didn't offer my grandparents enough money. Like this house was built in 1900. Like my
Right.
parents planted the tree here when I was born. Like we will die here. And I was like, wow, I really did. I walked into the up house, a real life one, right there.
Oh
Dead
my
today.
God. That is
I
so
know.
incredible. You have to take a picture of that next time if you ever buy there again.
I'll take a snap. I'll be like, look at all the
Yes.
concrete jungle. And then there's like this one, and it's like beautiful. It's got this big tree and grass and
Oh
like
my
all
God,
this.
that's so
And then
funny.
on the other side, there's an excavator because it's literally like a parking lot.
That is so incredible. Oh my God.
I was like, wow, okay, off topic. Here we go.
I think a great diversion though. It was pretty good.
Montage though, like that's where this came in. The montages are really just like top notch in these movies.
Yes, really. So good.
So between that and the montage at the end, they just really just they knew they understood the assignment
Yes.
and they delivered.
They really, really did. And that earned them that they're now we have it's in the top three. It's Lion King, Moana, and Toy Story 3, which is fitting at the third spot, right there in front of Lilo and Stitch,
Like, we can never
Luca.
make it now. It
Yes, I know, right? I know.
feels like now we're locked.
Oh my God, Elio, sorry, you can't put top. You can't crack the top three. Sorry, it's just against the law. No, but yeah, so right now at S we have Lion King, Moana, Toy Story 3, Lilo and Stitch, Luca, Cinderella, Snow White, and the original Toy Story. So yes, you know what? We have two Toy Stories and we're proud of it. We're not ashamed. We're happy about it. They're worth it. They're,
Yeah,
it is
I
what it
think this
is.
is correct. This is correct.
It is correct. It is correct. And with that note, I think it is time for us to give our podcast to Bonnie and Selah and drive off to college because it is very late and it's officially tomorrow for me. It's midnight. So congratulations.
We wouldn't have been up this late if Henry hadn't come barging in
Hey,
all sweat-ridden and sad.
I know, poor guy, but hey, that's life, right? It is what it is.
Mhm.
But on that note, I want to thank you all so much for listening to this episode of Talking Disney Magic. If you loved listening to our show and Toy Story Month and all that stuff, we'd love you to subscribe to oh my God, I can't even talk. And also if you could share it with a friend or review us, it really means so much and it helps other people find us and it really is a very important thing in building this community Vanessa and I are trying to build. And we'd also love you to check the show notes below to find so you can find timestamps, you can find our current rankings of all the films, an upcoming schedule, you can find an invite to our Discord, and anything else you need to know about the world of Talking Disney Magic. And if you want to share your thoughts on Toy Story 3, on Toy Story 4 coming up, on Elio, on anything else in the world of Disney and Pixar and Marvel and Star Wars, Disney parks, whatever, Send it to talkingdisneymagic@gmail.com. Once again, that's talkingdisneymagic@gmail.com. And yes, like I kind of mentioned before, next week we are going to be ranking and reviewing Elio. Actually, that's going to be in a couple days. So if you're hearing this, send in your thoughts for that. And then also, if you want to be a part of our interview with Danielle, with the Dapper Danielle, we'd love to have your questions about her incredible career as a content creator and doing incredible stuff with Disney and writing her own book. I mean, that's a big thing. That's really awesome that she did the unofficial fan guide. I love Disney's Magic Kingdom. So we can't wait to dive into that. So we'd love you to hear your questions and you to be a part of that. But Vanessa, do you have
And
any
Toy
fine?
Story 4 too.
Oh my God.
Don't
Hello.
forget,
Yes,
Toy
of
Story
course.
4 is this next week as well too to finalize to round out our Toy Story month. So
Yes, yes. And yeah, to end Toy Story month, we have Toy Story 4. So yeah, so Elio, Dapper Danielle, Toy Story 4. Get it all in, get ready, watch them, be a part of the show. It's going to be a fun conclusion to our Toy Story month and all this fun stuff happening at Talking Disney Magic. And after that mouthful, any final thoughts, Vanessa?
nope, I think it's time to get you to bed and we will see you for Elio.
Yes, we will in just a very short time. So can't wait to see you there. But until then, we hope you have a great day and or night and a magical week. And we will see you for Elio and Dapper Danielle and Toy Story 4 and so many more incredible Disney adventures. But right now we're going to bed. So bye, everybody.
Bye.